It's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your
You support defunding the police?
No, I don't support defunding the police. I support conditioning federal aid to police based on whether or not they meet certain basic standards of decency and honorableness, and in fact are able to demonstrate they can protect the community and everybody in the community.
Does it hurt Democrats' cause if there are some in your party that are saying defund the police? The president is suggesting that shows Democrats are weak in terms of law and order.
The president has no credibility on anything. He lies. He's the first person anyone can think of in modern history who's taken regular military officers and had them move against peaceful demonstrators, causing 4 former chiefs of staff to say, this guy's bad, this guy's wrong, he should just stop.
So Biden never, ever, ever, never, ever was for defunding the police. Never. Not one time, not one day in his life did he ever support defunding the police. And neither have I. I told you what I would like to say is repeal and replace, because white supremacists have infiltrated the police. This is what they did back in the day, too, with the Ku Klux Klan. They were always the local sheriff. Everybody knows how this works. This is not a mystery. But what Donald Trump is doing, I mean, some people think it's very reminiscent of, Nixon and the hard hat riot. I don't know if you remember this, but he got all these, union guys all worked up over, everyone was going to get welfare checks if McGovern became the president. Everybody was going to get 47% of America is going to be on welfare. And unless you're one of those 1 in 2 people that are on welfare, you're going to pay for them. And there's too much culture change. The music was changing. The clothing was changing. Boys look like girls. Does this sound familiar? With their long hair. It's all on instant replay. Except we're smarter now than we were in 1968. And the reason why people were protesting is because Nixon found a really good way to thin the herd. It was called the Vietnam War. Black 19-year-olds, poor white 19-year-olds. Those are the ones that went over there and died, 58,000 of them. Donald Trump's got a better thing going on here. He's thinning the herd with a virus that he refuses to react to. He's literally thinning the herd. 184,270 of us are already dead. 6 million of us already have it. I mean, it's just so unbelievable to me. This started one guy from China. 6 million infections. And those are just the ones we know about. And the testing is slowed down. And numbers are being fudged in Florida. And we all know it. We all know it. You know how we know it? The deaths stay steady. We have over 1,000 deaths every single day for the past, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something crazy like that. That's one American dying every single minute. But he loves this because it's thinning the herd for him. But what you need to imagine, never mind Nixon, he had a secret plan to end the war. Remember that? He had no secret plan to end the war. In fact, he escalated the war until the war was so obviously unwinnable, until students were killed in Kent State protesting this stupid war, until the weathermen, they got a little violent, and the student bodies were taking over, college campuses and all this stuff, and people ended up dead at the hands of the National Guard, right? And finally, Nixon realized, that he had gotten caught being a crook, being a criminal, being a burglar, being a two-bit commonplace garden variety thief, stealing from the Democratic National Committee their plan to win the presidency, and he had to resign. But Donald Trump is telling you exactly what it would look like, not if Nixon won, because we know what it looked like when Nixon won. He's telling you what this country would have looked like if George Wallace would have won. He's telling you if a segregationist like George Wallace had managed to win, had managed to do it, it would look just like this. And he's promising Identity Europa and the 3%ers and the Patriot Prayer dudes and the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. He's promising them a feeding frenzy of knocking off anybody you don't like with his protection to do it on American soil. This is what it would have looked like if George Wallace would have won. That's what's going on here. You know, everybody wants to say, oh, it's, like Hitler. Oh, the use of propaganda was well learned by George Wallace, was well learned by Richard Nixon and Roger Ailes and Roger Stone, who all ran that campaign of fear that Nixon was able to pull off, okay? He was able to point to, protesters and long-haired hippie-type pinkos, and he was able to point to boys looking like girls and crazy music and pot smoking and drugs and the whole culture shift and everything else. And he was successful in his endeavor. His problem was he wasn't radical enough for the uber power elite. He should have done more. Should have gone all the way. Shouldn't have got caught. But that's what's going on here. Just imagine if George Wallace won an election in this country. Okay, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And I want to show you how I can say that, okay? I want to show you why I'm able to say that this president is so freaking racist that he makes George Wallace look like a putz, okay? Listen to what he told Laura.
Are the suburbs in danger? Because they say that's fear-mongering on the part of
I know the
Republicans.
suburbs. Look, Westchester was ground zero, okay, for what they were trying to do. They were trying to destroy the suburban, beautiful place, the American dream, really. They want low-income housing, and with that comes a lot of other problems, including crime. May not be nice to say,
You're not saying all
but
poor
I'll
people
say
are
it.
criminals, though.
No, I'm not saying that at all, but it does. There is a level of violence that you don't see. So you have this beautiful community in the suburbs, including women, right? Women, they want security. I ended where they build low-income housing project right in the middle of your neighborhood.
Women are going to be raped by low-income housing dwellers. What does that conjure up for you, huh? What do you think he's driving at? You know, I got news for you. The breathtakingly violent people in our country are these white supremacists. The FBI agrees the biggest threat we face is white supremacist violence. They are breathtakingly riotous, violent, gun-toting lunatics. And they're being given permission by this president who makes George Wallace look stupid. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.